here's every brand new and returning roller coaster that we know so far to be included in Planet Coaster 2. Discover every clue you may have missed with real-life examples to identify which manufacturers' ride types have made the sequel's cut. First up, Planet Coaster 2 will introduce the brand new B&M Surf Coaster. Frontier have so perfectly chosen this ride to lead the marketing strategy, to suitably relate a ride type to the water park features of Planet Coaster 2. The only current example of this first-of-a-kind prototype is located at SeaWorld Orlando, and though the ride strikes similarities with the stand-up roller coaster model, where riders stand stationary, the restraints on surf coasters have vertical movement. This begs the question whether the surf coaster's wave-jumping motion animations, with legs kicking and arms flailing, will be simulated according to the physics, or instead, simply baked in. However, we do already know that the guests will be able to hold hands with their accompanying riders, so they'll certainly be given some more personality at least. Taking a look at this close-up of the ride vehicle, we can see that the model is of much increased quality. On par, if not better than the later licensed Steel Vengeance and Copperhead Strike trains in Planet Coaster 1. Notice with the bogies that the wheels are now 3D, with concave shapes and much improved textures. The artwork suggests that the track style might be the same as the I-beam style of the surf coaster, hopefully beginning a trend of more realistic trains and track, with increased functionality. But also notice a lack of consistency, how the train features a different type of over-the-head restraint, very peculiar. Drop tracks have also been confirmed, though our first sighting of this is being saved for a future preview. So make sure to subscribe to this channel to be the first to hear about all breaking Planet Coaster 2 news. The first ever coaster to feature this element was an Intamin family drop coaster called 13 at Alton Towers. Soon, 2 more coasters of this kind followed, with a freefall drop element on Verbolten at Busch Gardens Williamsburg and Polar Explorer at Legoland Bulland. However, both of these coasters were instead built by Sierra. No matter the inspiration for the new roller coaster with drop track capabilities, let's hope that this new addition fills the gap of the previously lacking generic family coaster. Okay, now let's check in on your old favourites from Planet Coaster 1. It's almost been 10 years since Frontier first shortlisted, modelled and developed a roster of rides to be included in Planet Coaster. Back in the day, roller coaster innovation looked and rode like taller and faster and loopier and longer. But whilst some parks fought to build world record breaking rides, others created new types of experiences to stand out amongst the crowd. The mid-80s saw the debut of the stand-up roller coaster, then in the early 90s, the inverted roller coaster, and before the turn of the century, the dive coaster with a vertical drop. And this continued to the birth of flying, wing, spinning, and hypercoasters. These legacy rides were all included in some shape or form in the original Planet Coaster release, but will they all be returning to the sequel? Well, Frontier have said that Planet Coaster 2 will include an exciting array of new rides, along with returning favourites. And so here are those coasters identified so far. The B&M Dive Coaster. That's right, the second generation B&M dive coaster featured heavily in the announcement trailer, and so will be very likely returning to Planet Coaster 2. And of course, this Bollinger & Mabillard beauty was known as Ethon in the first game, a vertical drop coaster using wide, high-capacity flawless cars for that extra feeling of rider vulnerability. In the opening shots of the trailer, we got our first glimpses of an updated restraint system. The textures also look to be improved, and once again, updated bogies, which confirms that they'll be importantly taking older models and then updating them. Aesthetics wise, it looks almost exactly the same as the last train, with the default colours being a reference to the Griffon roller coaster, located at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, which is actually one of the only coasters to have 10 across rows. We also have the Intamin Mega Coaster, with first generation, low stadium style seating. You can see evidence of this here. However, many people have noticed that the box track does look strange, especially from some angles, with no diagonal cross ties, although it's worth mentioning that this is all pre-alpha footage, and so models such as track and supports might have been ported from Planco, as a placeholder before creating new meshes and models. There's certainly a wooden coaster shown in the announcement video, with traditional PTC or Philadelphia Toboggan Company 6-person trains. Some examples of PTC wooden coasters are Phoenix at Nobles or the Racer at Kings Island. I would say that this most likely seems to be a return of the traditional ride known as the Monster in Planet Coaster 1. We've seen the Vekoma Corkscrew Coaster with Arrow appearance trains, so hopefully a track system with a 1200mm gauge so that we can recreate some of the most iconic legacy coasters. This looks to be the Intamin Giga Coaster, previously known as Invincible and made famous by Millennium Force at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. The trains in game were only used on Millennium Force, as Intamin's only other Giga Coaster, Project 305 at King's Dominion, uses over-the-shoulder straps instead. And finally, Frontier have stated that Planet Coaster 2 will combine water and coaster rides. We will discover an exciting array of new rides, along with returning favourites, and all new water coasters too. To find out what these mysterious water coasters could be, check out this dedicated video for analysis of potential manufacturer ride types.